you are a doctor and also a programmer, I would say, right? You have developed various apps and you even helped me with my website, right? I have a question for you. Like, how did you get interested in programming? Or first of all, what did you get interested in first? In programming or medicine?
Thank you, Isira, for inviting me for this your med motivation podcast. So out of medicine and programming, medicine was the first thing that got me interested. So I wanted to become a doctor since my childhood, and I worked on that target. Later in my life, after A levels, then I had free time, so I started learning programming by myself using various books. So after A levels, I got interested in programming and software development.
Oh, right. So tell me a bit more about how you got interested in medicine, first of all, because that's what you got interested in first, right?
I think when I was 4 years old, I got this idea to become a doctor because one of my uncles, one of a close relative was a doctor. So when I saw him daily going in front of my house using his jeep, I wanted to become a man like him doing his job. So I wanted to become a doctor. So that was the beginning of my journey. So since that age, becoming a doctor was my target. So that's how I become interested in becoming a doctor.
Yeah, that's nice to hear because it seems like you have had like an unwavering resolve to become a doctor always.
Yes.
Kind of like wanted to be Hokage, right? So, but for me, it was kind of different because my mother was a doctor. I always had like a doctor right in front of me to get inspired if I really wanted to. But my parents always talked about how difficult it is to become a doctor. And for me, I was never really doing an exceptional student in school. So and my parents always talked about how my mother was always first in class and how she would make her mother proud in every prize giving. So I was never really that person, probably because I went to a more prestigious school which had like a bigger competition. Still, that kind of discouraged me. I didn't think I would be able to make it here, but I don't even know how I got really interested in medicine. But it would have been nice if I had like a fixed target like you did. And I think that's really important if you want to get anywhere in life. That target is really important. So anyways, let's move on to the next part. Like, how did you get interested in programming? That's the interesting thing.
So while in school, I didn't learn information technology as a subject. After passing the scholarship examination, I got my first computer. So I worked with it by myself. I referred some books that my father bought me. And then after A levels, so I wanted to learn about programming. I started using Linux as my operating system. So with the using of command line tools and those things, so I wanted to know about programming. So out of the curiosity, I started learning programming. The Python was my first programming language. Out of curiosity, I started learning Python by referring books. So then late in life, I started learn some other languages. So that's how I got started with programming.
Yeah, it seems like you wanted to learn programming so that you can do something that you wanted to do with it. So eventually you learn step by step.
Yes.
And then you got the interest to learn it like as a whole.
Yes.
That is kind of interesting because you wanted to solve a problem and then that the solution led you to that interest. For me, I also have a little bit of interest in programming, but not as I'm not as knowledge as you in it. But for me, it was after my O levels. My parents put me into a programming course because I had a 6-month vacation. There's really nothing else to do at that time than do some kind of course, and this course was exactly 6 months, so it was ideal for that vacation. So that programming certificate course, I never really knew what programming and all that was, but like people were coding behind all that. There was command lines and code behind all these softwares that we use. Never really was an interesting thing for me, but after I did that course, I really started getting an interest, and then I actually thought of pursuing it as a career as well. But then my parents weren't really happy about it. They wanted me to try out A-levels and try to become a doctor at least. That's what brought me here anyways. I feel like sometimes pursuing it as, learning it as a subject in school and only to prepare for a test or something kind of kills the interest in things. Like for example, you never, like you said, you never learned programming as a subject, computer science or anything related to that as a subject in school, but you got the interest out of just discovering it on your own. Like for a lot of people, I've heard and I've seen that when you pursue it as a subject, for example, art or music, it kind of kills the interest in that subject. Kind of interesting how that happens, right?
One other thing, although we are talking about programming today, and although we are talking about programming and computer things today, I wanted to learn music because when I came to university at that time, I couldn't play guitar or instrument. I loved music, but I didn't do music at my school because I had to remove my shoes before entering the music room, and I was lazy, so I chose art. So I wanted to learn music, and I wanted to play an instrument. So first thing I did was I bought a guitar and I tried to learn myself. It was not that successful. Then I participated music class. Then I got to learn how to play guitar. So as you discussed, as you said, if we have curiosity to learn something, so that is the best weapon, and that's the best start for anything.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to get at as well. Like, how do you renew your interest in medicine? How do you apply these concepts of like that passion that we have for these other areas in other subjects? Sometimes I feel like I don't have that for medicine. Is there a way that I can renew my passion for medicine and to learn medicine in that way? Because just studying it as a subject and only to prepare for exams kind of kills that the interest, if I had any to begin with.
So when I'm studying medicine, I didn't think it as a subject because one day I wanted to become a doctor, and I was scared, and because I have to know everything, because once a patient came to me, I couldn't tell that I don't know, I can't remember. So I think for a medical student, it is best to learn medicine to become a good doctor with a good knowledge and with good clinical skills. Because otherwise, if we are learning this to pass exams, that is just passing exams, but not to become a doctor. I think when we are choosing a target, that should come genuinely from us, and we have to think whether who should I become, who should I have to become. So
yeah, I agree. So, but these two interests that you have, they are like very contrasting subjects. They don't like go along together with each other really well. How did you was there a way that you could incorporate your knowledge in programming into your medical career?
Yes, as a doctor, I wanted to propagate my knowledge to public about especially the health knowledge for Sri Lankans. So I created the application I created several softwares and websites to give knowledge to the public. So that's one way of incorporating my knowledge in programming to give my knowledge to people in Sri Lanka. Also, we are doing several projects and several things using programming and software development for medical education for medical education purposes. So in those ways, I am trying to incorporate these two contrasting subjects. Actually, now with the development of with the recent developments in technology, I think this every subject is becoming linked to each other. So they have links, and they are not now contrast subjects. But as a medical student, if your passion, if you are targeting to become a doctor, but if you have interest in other field, so best thing is to identify your priorities, and then you have to invest more time in your primary priority. Then if you are interested in some other thing, then we can follow that as a hobby. And if you are good in IT or programming, as example, you can make short notes and flashcard like things and make your studies a lot easier, and some other ways. But you have to be careful without wasting your time, but you have to be efficient, and you have to be more efficient, and you have to know what you are doing. So even if you are interested in music, so you can play music while you are not studying and make your mind calm, and then study again. So like that. And there are a lot of multi-talented people in this world. Most of them most of the famous people are balancing their lives. So I think most of them are giving priority to their one field. So I think it is important to identify our priorities, and then to balance out our life. Otherwise, it will be unbalanced, because we will not achieve a thing from any interest.
Yeah. Also, I know that you're working on a couple of research related to making apps and artificial intelligence as well. Are you allowed to talk about that, or can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on these days?
Actually, I couldn't reveal all the facts, but I out of your curiosity, I will tell some information. We are using artificial intelligence and machine learning for our researchers these days. That was not done in my faculty before, but with our department and myself and my advisors, we are working on some things to something on prediction, and we are working on softwares and researchers more using artificial intelligence and machine learning. So that the news on that will be out soon.
Yeah, that's kind of really nice to hear that lecturers and professors are kind of open-minded to embrace this new technology. A lot of people can be very in my experience, a lot of the professors and even students are not very open to these new ideas. And I know that another professor told me that some of our students in the university were offered tablets for free to study from them for educational purposes, and the student union actually refused those that offer, saying that our students only learn from books. And I just can't comprehend why they would say such a thing. It's just all the students lost out on that benefit. And from coming from that university and hearing about embracing AI, that kind of gives more hope to the future.
As once 𝗦𝗽liche Munidasa told, Mr. 𝗦𝗽liche Munidasa, the greatest, one of the greatest authors in Sri Lankan history, told if you don't do new innovations, the whole nation will not never rise and the country will not develop. So like that, if you do not go hand in hand with the new technology and new trends, our nation will not rise. So as a nation, as a Sri Lankan, I think it is very important to rise as a nation. Like actually as a medical student, as a government medical student once, now as a government doctor, I think we have a responsibility to develop our nation and give our knowledge back to our society. I think as a university student, what our country wants us is our knowledge back to our society. So we have to give that 100% because the government has paid us for our education. So it is important to give that knowledge back to our society.
Yeah. You also seem to have like a keen interest in doing researches. But I know that a lot of medical students that I come across, they don't really have that kind of interest in doing research and contributing to this knowledge base. They just like a lot of them come here to just become doctors and treat patients. But I think as a medical student, as an academic, it is our responsibility also to help in the progress of medicine as well, rather than just to use that knowledge base to treat people. We also should improve that knowledge base.
Yes, definitely, because in researchers we find new knowledge. So we all in modern science, in science, the science is based on finding new knowledge. So it is very important to find new knowledge on medicine and how we treat patients and how the disease trends are going, so about new diseases and everything. So it is important to definitely researchers are very important in medicine. So what I believe is, as I said earlier, we have to give our 100% to our nation. So we have to find new things, and not only for our nation, for whole world. If we can if we can find new thing and give that knowledge to our society, our world, that will be very important. So researchers should be done on that theme, because doing researchers just to pass a degree, just to pass an exam, just to complete a degree, I think but that can be used as just a fundamental, that can be used as a foundation for studying researchers. But if you have a keen interest in finding new things and doing it as a passion, so it is best to learn about research and start doing researches. I think to learn about researchers, best thing is to start doing researches with the correct mentor, good advisors. So
yeah, how did you exactly get started out with this pathway in research? Like, how did you first get interested in it, and who brought you in and all that?
I think before starting my first undergraduate group research, I had interested in researchers, because I was used to read the Vidusara newspapers since grade 6 to until my A levels. Then even after university, I read even now I am reading that newspaper. So that newspaper actually got me interested in researchers. So because there are a lot of articles on researchers, and so I was interested doing research by myself one day. So after my first research project was group research project for my undergraduate degree. So from that I started doing researchers. I am not a very experienced researcher. Just I am also just beginning doing researchers now.
Yeah, for me, my interest in research began in my diploma in psychology. So before coming to medical school, there was also a brief time period where I was really not doing anything else. That was like a vacation time. So I chose to spend that doing a diploma in psychology. And in this, they had a lot of, we had to write a lot of essays as assignments. And our lecturers really wanted us to cite researchers and then have a proper APA referencing and all that. So for that, I had to read a lot of researches and to understand what all these p-value and all that means. And that kind of made my curiosity grow. I really wanted to understand what all those things mean, like how research just were being done, how these studies are designed, and the reason behind all of that, like these placebo groups and double-blinded studies and things like that. It was really interesting to me that you could contribute to this knowledge base. And when we were in school, we were learning about all these people who found new things like Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton, and they were just presented to us as people like one in a million. Like I was never given the idea that I could also contribute to science like they did, but not in that same magnitude, but still I can contribute to it. And knowing that kind of grew my interest in research. And I think before starting out on our own research, even in medical school, if we had more assignments like that, to read researchers first of all and to cite them in different essays and things like that, our interest in research would have grown more, and for other students, and that would help us when we're doing our own undergraduate research as well. So thank you, Yomal, for coming on to our podcast. Yomal also started a new podcast recently. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It is Health Topics by Dr. Yomal. So it is available on Spotify and all the other platforms.
Yeah, also there's Yomal's YouTube channel. Go ahead and check that out, Dr. Yomal Amaratunga. Subscribe to my channel and his one as well. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can leave us voice messages. You can, if you want to get featured on this podcast, if you have any thoughts you want to share. And for any other listening platform, you can join our email list. You can receive a new podcast to your email if you join the email list. I will include a link in the description for all of this. Right. And that's it for today's episode.
Motivation.